To replace the membranes, you'll first need to remove the stack from the boat. Once you've got the stack removed from the boat, you can then go ahead and dismantle them. First we'll just pop off all the plastic caps which cover all the nuts on the tie rods, and also remove the product water manifold from the end of the stack as well. These are just finger tight nuts, so just loosen them off and then the tubes will just pull straight off. This membrane stack is off a 100 litre an hour machine, so we've got 3 membranes and 8 tie rods, so a lot of nuts to remove. Always start from the outside and work my way in. That's be an easier way of doing it. It's also a good idea to photograph the membrane stack before you start pulling it apart. It gives you a reference to what end cap goes on what membrane tube, so when you reassemble it you can use your photograph to reference what orientation the end cap needs to go on the end of the tube. Very easy to reassemble them the wrong way round, and then your pipes don't line up when you get it back on the boat again. So just spend a bit of time before you do this. Once we've got all the tie rods out, we can then go ahead and pull off the end plates. The membranes are all connected together, so as you pull the end plates off, you just need to separate the interconnectors. So be careful, pull them squarely apart so you don't damage the interconnectors. Then to remove the membrane end caps, we're going to use water pressure so we don't damage the carbon fibre tubes. So we're using a tap. You could use your rinse lever on your pre-filter to do this if it's still in the boat. So we turn the water flow on, restrict the flow, and then the end will just pop off once the pressure builds up. Bit of a messy job, lots of water. Remove the other end cap. This one needed quite a bit of force to get it out. Sometimes they come out a bit easier. So before we start reassembling it, we need to replace the seals on the membrane end caps. We can also inspect the end caps at the same time to make sure there's no damage. If they've got chemical damage to them, the plastics will be very soft, so in this case you should replace them. So just lubricate the seals with a bit of silicone grease to make it easier to reassemble them again. The central one's a bit difficult to get in, so you do a bit of teasing to get the O-ring to sit back into the groove. The outer ones are a lot easier. Then reinsert the new membrane. See, there's a rubber seal on one end of the membrane. This rubber seal needs to go to the red end on the carbon fibre tube. And in order to get the membrane into the tube, just need to carefully push the rubber seal back into the groove of the membrane in order to let it slip in. So do it once, push it in, and then insert the seal into the other side of the slot. As soon as you reseat this seal, the membranes slide in quite easily. And go ahead and put the end caps back on again. Sometimes these go in fairly easily, and other times they need a bit of persuasion. See, this one was quite tight to get it in place. When you reinsert the membranes, you should never push them in using the central tube. Always push them in from the outside of the membrane so you don't damage it. This way, having a wooden block with a hole drilled in the middle of it becomes a very good tool for reassembling them. If you haven't got a wooden block, you can use a very large socket. Then the interconnectors, I'm just going to lubricate the seals and replace the seals. This one is the newer type of interconnector which uses a ceramic one. The older ones used a stainless steel interconnector. Just need to make sure there's no corrosion on the stainless steel one before you refit it. These seals are incredibly easy to pinch, so you just need to be careful you insert them squarely. Again, just line the two tubes up parallel and then squarely insert them together again. Just gentle wriggle and very little pressure as you use this way to reassemble those. Once we've got those on, we can then pop the end plates back on again. Again, both the end plates are the same, so they just slide back on again. Then we can go ahead and put the tie rods back in again. Placing all the nuts and washers on finger tight. Once we've got all the tie rods in and the nuts on, we can just go over and make sure that they're all the same torque, finger torque. Less work to do with the spanner. And then we just need to tighten them up with the spanner. Don't need to be overly tight, just tight enough so they're not loose. And then do them up in a cross pattern as well. And then just check them all over and make sure they're all the same tension. You can go ahead and refit the product manifold again. Slide it on, do all the nuts up a little bit, and then you'll find you'll be able to push the manifold on a bit further. And then we can do the final tighten. And once we've got that all tight, we can then just reinsert the end cap nuts. Covers back on again. Now you're all done and ready to reinstall it back onto the boat again.